So I'm Valentina Genoese-Zerbi, and I'll be presenting an adversarial approach to strong story experience management. Or in other words, um, using an adversarial deep learning approach to experience management reduces the number of undesirable states encountered by players. To start breaking that down, I know we've heard a lot about experience management, especially in our first session, but to go over it again, experience management is a class of AI agents that dynamically responds to users in pursuit of some greater goal, while still keeping in mind their unpredictable actions. The context we'll be looking at this is in interactive narrative games. A very common approach for this is in planning. Usually these are written in planning domain definition language, or PDDL, and it's a good fit for narrative generation because you can give a planner a sequence of, or a set of possible actions, your initial state, and the outcomes you want for the story, and it'll return to you a sequence of actions that looks a lot like a plot. And that is very useful for narratives, obviously, but we've also have a very rich body of work in adding narrative structures to it, like intentionality and conflict. There is an additional wrinkle that you get, though, when you introduce the player agent here, the unpredictable one. You can get into undesired states. And in this case, I'll be, when I say undesired states, I'm referring to dead end, the most undesired state, because it is the place in the search graph where it is impossible to ever reach the goals. It's not a game over in a game. It's a soft lock. The player is stuck. Obviously, these are really bad. It completely cuts you off from what you want to do. So at all costs, we would like to avoid these. Now, there's a system that is very good at avoiding undesired state, AlphaZero. It's a deep reinforcement algorithm that learns through self-play. So the question is, if we model our experience management problem as an adversarial game problem, using dead ends as the loss states for AlphaZero, can we then use AlphaZero to train effective experience managers? Dead-end detection itself is a non-trivial problem. For this, we use Lipovetsky et al.'s algorithm for dead-end detection. However, it uses planning domain definition language, which is one of the things that we had to modify when making the adversarial experience manager. So this is based on AlphaZero. However, we implemented a few modifications, such as compatibility with PDDL structured games, as well as asymmetrical games and non-zero sum games, as these are more in line with the types of games you get in experience management problems. The player is not usually necessarily trying to break the game, as would be in a traditional adversarial problem. Really, our system is adversarial against dead ends. And of course, this means that we need a mechanism for both the player and the experience manager to be able to win if their goals are not necessarily adversarial. We again use Lipovetsky et al.'s dead-end detection algorithm to get our loss states, and to evaluate our system, we created a set of test games with varying complexities. And for our most complex, we encoded narrative reasoning using compilation. There is a compiler by Haslam that allows us to encode intentionality, a strong narrative structure, into classical planning problem using PDDL, which allows us to use it with the rest of the problem. To compare our system against the baseline, we use the general mediation engine, which is a planning-based engine that doesn't directly act to prevent dead ends. It tries to come up with backup plans to get around them sometimes, or to eliminate dead ends that would otherwise be dead ends. However, it doesn't do anything to steer the player away from them in the first place. and it embeds its narrative structures through narrative planning directly rather than using classical PBDL. So to evaluate, we had each engine play 100 rounds of each game we designed with a maximum of 50 turns per character. We had them play against randomly acting player agents, and we collected the results of each game and evaluated based on the total number of dead ends encountered by each system and our value metric, which we designed to give value to ties, as ties are still valuable states for us, as unless you keep that limit of a max of 50 turns, the player is still in a space where they can eventually maneuver to the goals if they so feel. Therefore, a tie maintains some value even if it's not as good as actually being at the goal. As you can see, we got very significant results with AEM beating GME in every category for every game. So to conclude, using adversarial agents for interactive narrative experience management does indeed reduce the number of undesirable states encountered by players.